And what's going on, everybody? I am Kadarius Washington, and y'all are checking out the Sports Rundown. So, folks, we have 3 games coming up in the NFL on Christmas Day, and then 2 more games on Saturday. So, you know what we're going to do, folks? We're going to have ourselves an early pick segment. We're going to pick all 3 of the NFL Christmas Day games and the 2 Saturday games against the spread. And then we're going to pick our regular 6 games on Friday in a condensed CW 6-pack. Now, listen, folks. When we made our picks for the Thanksgiving slate earlier this year, we said that Thanksgiving slate was the best holiday slate that we'd ever seen. But folks, this Christmas Day slate here has to be the worst. I mean, folks, last year we only had 2 games on Christmas Day, and both of those games were absolutely horrible. And neither of these 3 games look any better for a myriad of reasons. I mean, the NBA games look better than the NFL games as far as Christmas is concerned. But nevertheless, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick these games against the spread. And here we go. So starting with the first game on the Christmas Day card, we have the Dallas Cowboys going up against the Washington Commanders. Dallas, 7.5-point favorites on the road. This is the only matchup on the slate where neither team has anything to play for. Both teams are out of the playoffs, and it's sounding like Washington could be without Marcus Mariota. So if that's the case, Josh Johnson, in all likelihood, would be the starter. And listen, folks, I know these divisional matchups on a short week are tricky games to pick, but with Dallas obviously having the better offense than the Commanders, it shouldn't be this tricky. But folks, I could see this game going in one of 2 ways. It could either be a sloppy, low-scoring, mistake-filled football game or a Cowboys blowout. But I'm going to go for the latter, and I'm going to lay the 7.5 here with the Cowboys. And if this game is 21-0 in the first quarter, I'm going to flip over to the Cavs-Knicks game so fast it's not even going to be funny. But anyway, Cowboys minus 7.5. All right, next matchup, we have the Detroit Lions going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Lions 6.5-point favorites on the road. And J.J. McCarthy is officially out for this game with a hairline fracture in his throwing hand. So Max Brosmer will be getting his second career NFL start. And of course, his first start was against Seattle, where he threw 4 interceptions. I mean, listen, folks, the Lions are playing for their season in this game. If they lose or Green Bay beats Baltimore on Saturday, Detroit is out of the postseason. If J.J. McCarthy was playing, I could see a case where the Lions could have been on upset alert. But since it's not, I don't think so. I don't think the Vikings have much of a chance in this game, so I'm going to lay the 6.5 with the Detroit Lions. All right, the Christmas nightcap. We have the Denver Broncos going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Denver 13.5-point favorites on the road here, and the Chiefs are not only out of the playoffs, but they're running out of quarterbacks too. Patrick Mahomes is done for the year with a torn ACL. Gardner Minshew's done for the year with a knee injury. And they're going to be starting a third stringer from South Dakota State who I wouldn't have known if he was sitting in my living room. But anyway, the Chiefs have nothing to play for, but the Broncos do. They're in control of their destiny for the AFC West title and the 1 seed in the AFC. And the Broncos pretty much at this point of the year have everything that the Chiefs don't. So I'm going to lay the 13.5 with the Denver Broncos. All right, let's get into these Saturday games here. So the first game on the Saturday card, we have the Houston Texans against the LA Chargers. Chargers 1.5-point favorites at home. And folks, this is going to be a battle of 2 of the best defenses in football. This is a matchup we could very well see again in the playoffs. I mean, the Chargers are already in the playoffs, and it's a win and in game for the Texans, and both teams are still in the running for the 1 seed in the AFC. The Chargers are riding a 4-game win streak, and the Texans are riding a 7-game win streak. I mean, folks, this game is going to be an absolute war. And as much as I like the Chargers offense, that Texans defense is a freaking nightmare. I mean, they're disruptive, they're frustrating, and it is very hard to pick against them. And I think you can argue that as good as the Chargers have looked over these last few games, they're kind of due for a letdown game. So I'm going to take the points here with the Houston Texans. And last but not least, we have the Baltimore Ravens going up against the Green Bay Packers. Packers 2.5-point favorites at home. A win and in game for Green Bay. And Baltimore, of course, they're playing for their season. If the Ravens lose this game and Pittsburgh beats the Browns on Sunday, then the Steelers would win the AFC North and Baltimore would be out of the postseason. And folks, listen, just about every quarterback in this game is banged up. Lamar Jackson's banged up. Jordan Love's banged up. Malik Willis is banged up. So there's that. And Baltimore is coming off of another meltdown against the Patriots. John Harbaugh, a.k.a. the NFL's Doc Rivers, blowing another double-digit lead, and Derrick Henry's fumbling issues striking again. But, folks, I could see this game being a battle of the running backs in Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs. And listen, folks, the Packers almost beat the Bears last week with a backup quarterback, and I don't trust the Ravens to do the same, should that be the case, if Snoop Huntley is starting for the Ravens. This is a complete blind guess, shot in the dark pick, but I'm going to lay the 2.5 here with the Green Bay Packers. All right, so my picks this week, I have the Cowboys minus 7.5, the Lions minus 6.5, the Broncos minus 13.5, the Texans plus 1.5, and the Packers minus 2.5. Like, comment, subscribe, click that notification bell to be notified of when I post again, and also follow me on Twitter and on Bluesky at CW Talk Sports. That's CWTALKS Sports. And if I don't post anymore before Thursday, I wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas, and I will see y'all the next time. Peace.